The Lord be with you.
And with your spirit.
A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew.
Glory to you, Lord.
At that time, Jesus was led by the Spirit into the desert to be tempted by the devil. He fasted for 40 days and 40 nights, and afterwards he was hungry. The tempter approached and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command that these stones become loaves of bread." He said in reply, "It is written, 'One does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes forth from the mouth of God.'" Then the devil took him to the holy city and made him stand on the parapet of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down. For it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and with their hands they will support you, lest you dash your foot against a stone." Jesus answered him, "Again, it is written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test." Then the devil took him up to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world in their magnificence. And he said to him, "All these I shall give to you, if you will prostrate yourself and worship me." At this, Jesus said to him, "Get away, Satan. It is written, the Lord your God shall you worship, and him alone shall you serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and ministered to him. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
This first Sunday of Lent could be called Temptation Sunday, because the scripture readings focus our attention on being tempted. Tempted to choose our will and what we want over God's will and what he wants. In the reading from the book of Genesis, we heard about the temptation of Adam and Eve, and how they chose their will over God's will. And in the Gospel of Matthew, we saw the three temptations of Jesus, and how Jesus chose God's will and God's plan. The story of Adam and Eve being tempted and the story of Jesus' temptations are not simply stories about past events. But both of those stories tell us something important about the temptations that we face in our daily life. These two biblical stories remind us that all human beings struggle with temptation. Temptation is a common, everyday human experience. Every one of us has been, and every one of us will be tempted. There is no escaping temptation. And if there is no escaping temptation, then I offer for your reflection this thought. At the moment we are being tempted, the temptation seems to be a reasonable solution to the situation we are facing. Think about the three temptations that Jesus faced. Each one of those temptations seemed at the time to be a good solution to a particular problem. The devil tempts Jesus to turn stones to bread. The temptation seems to be a good solution to satisfying hunger. The devil tempts Jesus to throw himself from the top of the temple. The temptation appears to be a good thing, because if the people around the temple see angels saving Jesus, they will know that he is the Son of God, and the people will believe in him. The devil tempts Jesus to worship him in exchange for all the kingdoms of the world. And again, that temptation looks like a good solution. It looks like a very easy way for Christ to get people to follow him. At first glance, all temptation presents us with something that seems to be good, desirable, and reasonable. But when we step back from the temptation and think about what we are being tempted to do, we realize that giving in to that temptation will be a sinful decision. Most people have no difficulty in knowing right from wrong. But the difficulty comes when we have to make a quick decision between a good action and a sinful action. In a moment of temptation, we often make a choice that we would not make if we had a longer period of time to think about it. So on this first Sunday of Lent, I offer a suggestion for when you are facing temptation. Since most of our sinful choices occur when we make a quick decision, try to lengthen the time between the moment of temptation and the decision to give in to the temptation. By that I mean, if you are tempted to steal something, instead of making a quick decision to steal it right then and right there, take a moment to say to yourself, I will wait till tomorrow to steal this. In saying that, you have put some time or distance between the moment of temptation and the giving in to the temptation. You have given yourself some time to think about your action and the consequences of that action. And usually when that happens, when you have some time to think about it, you realize the sinfulness of the action you are contemplating, and then you have a change of heart, and you choose not to do it. Again, we all know right from wrong. And if we can avoid making a hasty decision, then most of us will choose the good over evil. During this first week of Lent, I invite you to pray that each one of us here will have a Christ-like mind and a Christ-like heart when facing temptation.